every year you sit down and do your New Year's resolutions, and this year one of mine was to get to Cheltenham. Not a sentence I ever thought I'd say, but that was before DEYA sprung up right by the station. A couple of months ago I saw a tasting note of their Steady Rolling Man, their pale ale, fly by on Twitter, and I contacted them going, I have to try that. It's an East Coast pale ale made in the UK. They sent me it was a proper stop in your tracks kind of moment. It was juicy mango and crystallized pineapple and grapefruit and just a little bit of grass savouriness to balance it out. It's a beautiful beer, and it's only got better. So I'm here drinking it fresh at the brewery, and I've had a wonderful chat, very, very interesting chat with the guy who founded it, Theo, who has already brewed at some amazing places in his short career. And DEYA is going to be one of those great breweries, I think. Let's see what Theo has to say. So after that incredible build-up, I am here with Theo, head brewer and founder of DEYA Brewing Company.
That's right, yeah.
DEYA Brewing Company. Now I discovered the East Coast way, the New England way, just over a year ago, and fell in love with it. I guess you must have discovered it long before then to have loved it, founded a brewery based on that sort of concept, smashed out these beers.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I was actually lucky enough to spend some time in the States in 2015. I worked at DEYA Brewing Company. So I got that opportunity, and I think I probably got an early eye-opener into what's happening in America and the different types of pale ale and IPA.
So what were you drinking in the States? Because DEYA don't make that style of beer.
Although they're IPA, they centrifuge, they don't filter it, so it still is slightly hazy, and it has a lot of good character to it. And they actually use a German ale yeast, which is interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting.
What ale yeast?
I don't think I'm actually allowed to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's like their house yeast, which they don't want people to know about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they use German ale yeast. It's like an alt yeast. Yeah. So it has all this, like, they described it as strawberry esters. So I think my time there, I started to like consider what a pale ale and IPA should be outside of hops.
Yeah.
Because for us in the brew house now, we probably talk more about water and yeast than we do about hops. More and more when I was brewing my pale ale, so we started with Steady Rolling Man, which is our core beer, it's our most regular beer. The more and more I was brewing it, I was reading about like how to increase mouthfeel, softness, all these sort of things that I guess hopefully that beer's become known for, and we sort of went down that route.
So you went to Heriot Watt, and then you worked at Odell and a couple of British breweries, did you?
That's right, yeah. So I worked at Cotswold Brewing Company, so it's up at Portsmouth-on-the-Water, it's about 40 minutes from here. So they're a lager-only brewery. I did my project from Heriot Watt there, and then I did some work experience at 5 Points.
Right.
Yeah, so that was in Hackney in London, and then I was at Odell, and then back.
So what was... I mean, that's quite a diverse mix of...
Yeah, I actually did some work experience at Theakston's before that.
Oh, right, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that was really like cask-led, English-style brewery, very traditional in what they did. Like it was a gravity-fed system.
So how did DEYA... Because obviously we're a sum of our parts and our experiences. Where did DEYA come from those diverse...
Yes, so DEYA is very much that. I mean, DEYA is actually a place in Mallorca that I grew up going to with my family. Right. So it's quite a personal connection. It's the English spelling of a place in Mallorca.
Right.
So there's a couple of reasons why I named it. So for me, I wanted something that we could grow into and the meaning would become us, brewery, as opposed to starting off with a name and that basically gives the direction to the meaning of the brewery. So I think because it has no meaning, we become the meaning.
Yeah, people project you onto it.
Exactly. So the brewery is DEYA.
Yeah.
It's not like
you could never be Camden.
Exactly. So that was a reason, and then I think it's just like basically the nicest place I've ever been to. So it was like in terms of what we're producing and what we're doing and how we behave and how we act as a business, I wanted us to live up to that. Yeah. That was kind of the idea.
There's quite a summery vibe today as well, like your branding, even your stout's a tropical stout.
Yeah.
You're a sunny state of mind.
I think so. I think we try and be, I guess, vibrant, lively. I think in some ways, hopefully that's represented in the beers. We want them to be really like clean and refreshing, but like really intense. You know, like really vibrant, really, if they're really juicy, like really juicy, you know, really hoppy.
So we're drinking now. We're drinking Into the Haze. Which is it's possibly the juiciest, along with the Cloudwater Dippers.
Yeah, I wanted you to try that. I mean, I even think like probably the Steady Rolling Man that you first tried. That's probably quite different to what it is now. I mean, talking about like changes and stuff like that, and like trying to make improvements the whole time. I think the beer has definitely evolved a lot. And then some people give the feedback of like it's kind of like it's not that consistent, which I sort of agree with. Yeah, it's changing the whole time. I probably shouldn't say. I shouldn't say that. But it's.
I guess you say to them, but it's always improving. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully it's improving, but there is always changes. But so this is a new batch Into the Haze, and we want to make this a regular beer, like a regular IPA at 6.2. This is more Citra dominant, Steady Rolling Man's more Mosaic dominant, and I mean we caked that yesterday, so it's like
it's absolutely
delicious. Yeah, I'm really happy.
Banging.
Yeah,
it's sort of orange juice without the bitter twang. It's beer, but it's super soft. That's
the thing. I think
taking from all different facets of what a beer can actually be.
Yeah, I think the juice. You've got to have some sort of balance to it to make sure it's not out of context in the whole beer. Like you've got to have a level of bitterness or a level of like a grassiness to it, or I don't know if you can have too much aroma. I think that's one area where you can just go. You can smell it across the bar. That's kind of what we're looking for in terms of our beers. But I think in terms of like the drinkability, you need balance and texture and everything to be in the right place. And I think we're getting to that with this beer. I mean, I think I need probably 5 goes at one recipe in terms of putting it on the big system and having it into package to get to roughly where I want it.
That's where you start going like...
Yeah, so that's why one-off...
I'll be happy with this batch, batch number 5.
Yeah, I think 5 beers. That's why like one-off beers is sometimes a bit nerve-wracking because it's like, is this going to be right? Yeah.
Because I've seen you're dumping a batch now. What does it take for a beer for you to be like,
you're not supposed to see that. I don't know, I think I said to you earlier, it's just like if you don't feel proud of it, then we just won't serve it. I think also the way that the beers that we're brewing, we're 100% committed to these styles. So I think some people are doing these beers as like one-off beers or something that's like a bit different to their core range and stuff like that. So we're 100% committed to these beers. So it's not like a weird or different beer for us. This is what we do. The biggest interest for me is producing a beer that's standout. So if that's one beer, I'm completely happy with that.
It's kind of like there's an excitement in like the Sky Cycling Team marginal gains kind of thing.
To an extent,
like, it's a bit better here and it's a bit better here.
Yeah, it's like repetition and try to make sure that beer is really, really good every time. I don't know, it's just like, I guess that's what we stand for. It's like if you buy a DEYA beer, we want it to be amazing. We don't want it to be like good or quite good. We want it to be amazing. So if that happened to be just one beer, then that's absolutely fine with me. But sometimes you taste a beer and you're just like, that's delicious, And it can be bitter, it can be a little bit on the sweet side, but I think that like unquantifiable like deliciousness is a big part of what we're trying to do. And that's not, you can't really like, I don't know, some pilsners you have and they're just like completely delicious. And you're like, this is fantastic. I don't know why it's fantastic, but it's just like everything's in harmony, balanced, you probably drink it at the right time. So, we've had beers in our CT and I'll taste out the CT and be like, oh my God, like I want to drink this now, it's amazing. Then put it in keg and it's like, it's okay, but it's not really doing it for me, And then I try it like 2 weeks later and it's like, wow, this is banging,
Yeah.
So it's like drinking at the right moment as well sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's such a scientific industry, and yet it does come down to somebody in a pub going, it's delicious, but I don't quite know why. Well, guys, if you haven't had DEYA, you absolutely have to. The beers are stunning, can and keg. And hopefully, as of September, it'll be more available. So if you're looking for something that's delicious but you can't quite say why, head for DEYA.
Get some deliciousness.
Yeah, we can cheers with the tiny remnants that are left.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.